for tuning in to Halton News. It's Monday, March 23rd, and I'm Jessica Kaitting. COVID-19 continues to affect us all as we try to do our part to adhere to social distancing measures, increasing the frequency of hand washing routines, and staying inside our homes as much as possible. For some, it has hit much closer to home, with friends or relatives exhibiting symptoms or having confirmed cases of this new coronavirus. In the most unfortunate cases, loved ones have been lost. A Milton resident in his 50s with underlying health conditions lost his life as a result of COVID-19 last week, and our sincere condolences go out to his family and friends. He was one of the now 12 total cases here in the Halton region. There is currently one other case in Milton, one in Georgetown, 4 in Oakville, and 5 within the city of Burlington. All of these residents are currently self-isolated. The Government of Ontario took further steps today in an effort to slow the spread. It was announced that schools will not reopen on April 6th. The new return date is yet to be decided, and additionally, all non-essential businesses have been ordered to close as of midnight tomorrow evening. That means that many parents are either working from home with their kids or temporarily laid off. This, of course, has caused much financial concern for residents and small business owners. I spoke with Burlington MP Karina Gould today about measures the federal government is taking to help mitigate these concerns and financial stresses.
MP Gould, I'd like to thank you so much for being here with us today. We're hoping to talk about relief measures. Many of us, of course, are at home and many are worried financially. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jessica, for having me on the program today. So, as the Prime Minister announced last week, we are going to be here for Canadians. We're going to be here for their health, for their safety, but also importantly for their economic security. We're facing an unprecedented situation in terms of this global pandemic, and we recognize that many people have either been or are going to be laid off or are facing tough economic decisions given the current situation. And so what we've done for individuals is, for those who are able to access employment insurance, we've cut the waiting period of 1 week so that you can be eligible immediately. For those who can't access EI, we've put in place the emergency support benefit. And this is for people who, either don't have access to employment insurance, who need to stay home because they're sick, or who need to stay home because they have to look after a child. And so we are right now in the process of developing this. We've recalled Parliament. Parliament will be sitting on Tuesday and Wednesday to pass this emergency legislation. And we've done it in a way that it'll be a tight time frame to make sure that we can get this system online in April so that folks can go online. They'll have a simple application form to fill out to confirm that they don't have employment income, and they'll be eligible for $900 every 2 weeks for a period of up to 15 weeks. So we really recognize how important this is for individuals. We also understand that these are tough times for businesses. And so for businesses, we've put over $500 billion of credit online through the Bank of Canada, through the Business Development Bank of Canada, BDC and EDC, to really help businesses get through this tough time. We are also recognizing that most businesses are going to want to keep their employees, and they might just need reduced hours. So what we've also put in place is a work sharing program for small businesses. So that's businesses with 18 or fewer employees to kind of help get through these difficult times. But all told, we've put over $82 billion of direct support to individuals and companies on the table for the economy. And we are working hand in glove with the provinces and with municipalities to make sure that we can support people get through what is a really extraordinary time.
Well, thank you for all that, and we really appreciate all that you're doing. Do you have a final message just for today for Burlington residents?
Yeah, so I mean, it might seem like we're taking these extraordinary measures and it's hard to kind of understand why we're doing it, but we're really doing it to protect the health of Canadians. Social distancing, what I like to call physical distancing, but still being socially connected, is really so important to stop the spread of COVID-19. The more that we can, stay home, stay away from other people physically, the better we'll be doing to protect the health and safety of Canadians, but also not to overburden our healthcare system. And so, what we're really trying to do right now in Canada is to flatten the curve. And so, the fewer people who are getting sick, the more able our healthcare system will be able to help them heal and to help them get through this, but also to protect our most vulnerable in Canadian society, particularly the elderly and particularly those with pre-existing medical conditions. And so I really just implore everyone, practice social distancing, stay home if you don't need to go out to get groceries or go to the pharmacy, and really take care of yourself. Practice frequent hand washing, right? With soap and warm water for a minimum of 20 seconds. If you have to cough into your arm. Don't shake hands. And if you need to connect with family and friends, do it via Skype, via WhatsApp, online. Let's stay connected, but let's stay physically apart.
If you believe you have symptoms of COVID-19, the first thing you are asked to do is visit halton.ca/COVID-19. You are asked not to walk into an assessment center, as you do need to make an appointment first by calling 311. Appointments are given to those who have symptoms and also meet at least one of the following criteria: over the age of 60, those with pre-existing medical conditions, those working in healthcare or long-term care, or members of the First Nation living on reserve. If you have symptoms but do not meet the above criteria, you are asked to stay home and self-isolate for 14 days or until you're symptom-free for at least 24 hours. If your symptoms become severe, call 911. Those who are feeling well and haven't traveled out of the country within the last 14 days are allowed outside of the home to walk and get essentials like groceries when necessary, but it is important that we do not congregate, we maintain physical distance from others, and that we do not visit parks and use playground equipment. I spoke with Milton Councillor Mike Cluett today about the closure of Conservation Halton Parks, among other COVID-19 related issues and measures within the town.
Councillor Cluett, thank you so much for being on here today. We're really happy to have you on here representing Milton. Can you please provide us an update of what's happening in the town in response to COVID?
Well, as you know, Jessica, it's an ever-changing environment that we're dealing with. It's not just on a daily basis, it's almost on an hourly basis. So the last stats that we've had so far from Halton Region is that there are 12 cases, confirmed cases here in Halton Region. Sadly, we've had one death of a Milton resident, and our hearts are broken with that, and our thoughts and prayers are obviously with the family and friends of that individual. And so far there's been 12. The last one confirmed was from Milton. It was a travel-related infection, but these numbers are going to continue to go up as more testing gets done. But we're doing, I think, the best we can here at Halton Region to flatten that curve.
And despite the tragedy and the new numbers and the social distancing instructions that have been coming out, there seems to be a lot of people still congregating.
It's mind-boggling, and it makes you shake your head a little bit. And I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible. But we had reports. I'm on the Conservation Halton Board of Directors, and we were receiving reports of literally hundreds of people going to our conservation parks. Parking along Kelso Road, which is a no parking zone, congregating in the parks, using the fire pits, basically making a mess out of things, and putting at risk a lot of people's health, not only the residents but people who are still working there at the Conservation Halton Parks.
I did see pictures too at other conservation parks with the parking lot completely full of cars.
And again, it's a head shaker. We're under a provincial state of emergency. We're asked to stay home as much as possible, only go out when it's absolutely necessary, and if we do, to maintain that social distance of 2 meters between people. And by and large, Miltonians are doing this, and people in Halton are doing this, but you see scenes like that, and we had reports of house parties going on a Saturday evening. So we can only continue to stress, and that's why we really appreciate your TV doing these interviews, and so we can get a message out and say, stay at home, and common sense should prevail. No more than 10 people should be congregating, and nobody should be having house parties. Playgrounds, we're putting up signs now to ask people to have their kids to stay off the playground equipment, because that's where this kind of virus can breed. social distance, stay at home. There's so many things you can do at home with your
And those
family.
parks are officially closed now.
Yes. Like I said, we're in the process of putting up some signs now. I know other Halton region municipalities are doing the same thing as well. We're trying to stem that tide as much as possible and getting the information out of. And it's the basics. It's wash your hands, stay indoors. If you feel sick, self-isolate. If you have any severe symptoms, call 911 immediately. That's the four basic items, and that's what everybody should be adhering to.
And you mentioned the provincial state of emergency. As you know, the city of Burlington has also declared a state of emergency. Is Milton considering doing the same?
Well, our crisis management team, which is made up of our CAO in concert with senior staff, our region public health department as well, they meet on a daily basis, maybe multiple times a day, to discuss these things. So I know nothing is off the table. Nothing official has been declared if we're going to be doing anything with a state of emergency, but I can say that everything is on the table. All considerations are being looked at. Obviously, we're going to look at the number of contaminations, how we here in Halton are doing with our infections, and doing other and making sure that we do our best to urge people to follow the basic steps of what we need to have done to make sure that we, hopefully in the summertime can all get together and have one giant group hug.
That sounds great, doesn't it? Thank you so much for your time today. I hope that we can have you on again soon.
Absolutely, anytime.
And while we all practice social distancing as a community and remain in our homes as much as possible, we want you to know that Cogeco is committed to maintaining the highest standard for access for information. That's why all customers now have access to free previews of CBC News and CTV News, as well as LCN and RDI network channels. Please visit cogeco.ca or Cogeco's Facebook page to stay on top of current offerings and updates. And now a look to where you can find factual and timely information on COVID-19 that you can trust. Official websites that are maintained by Halton Region and each municipality are listed here. And here we have the national and provincial sites, as well as public health and telehealth and the World Health Organization. We are also doing our part to help keep you informed online. Please follow us at Your TV Halton on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also reach us via email at haltonnews@cogeco.com. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kaitting, and I'll see you again tomorrow night.